his wife is going to have a profile too, meaning she's going to post pictures of her house, both from the United States perspective, but from foreign intelligence services. There's nothing better than Facebook. There's nothing better than social media. We would do something called a targeting study. That means I want to know what you like, where you go at night, where you go during the day, all your friends. Guess what you've done already? You've just handed that to me.
One of the things we've talked about a few times on the show is, the role of kind of U.S. tech monopolies, and then it's not a U.S. tech monopoly. It's now pretty much a Chinese tech monopoly. And for example, in the U.S., we've seen the 50 Cent army. China's kind of like, I think it's got to be over 1 million people that are, writing comments and creating posts. I'm sure Russia's also doing this too, because, obviously in the book you talk about, Russia was kind of your main post, right? You were in the Middle East and then you went to Russia. But we've seen the 50 Cent army influencing opinion. But we've also I've seen reports about, like the Chinese, I don't know what their secret service is even called, but maybe that's how it's like really secret. But like using LinkedIn to try and recruit agents.
Oh yeah.
And so even what you were just talking about, kind of changing the dynamic of saying, hey, how do you even source these people that could become a spy in the future? And it just seems like there's so much change technologically, and I just, I wouldn't even know where to start. I mean, it's not my world, your world, but it just seems like there's so much going on in developed countries and then emerging countries, and how do you even make sense of that?
That's where, intelligence services have to always innovate. I wrote a piece, right before the new CIA director, Bill Burns, was confirmed. And it was an open letter to him. And actually, it turns out he read it and then he called me to talk about it. But I had several different recommendations for him. But one of them was embracing technology, but also understanding that there's a new world out there. And so you gave a great example about LinkedIn and the dangers of LinkedIn. Everybody uses LinkedIn, but so do hostile intelligence services. So the more you put on there, the more someone who may be actually a Chinese intelligence officer is contacting you, looking like he or she is in a company in Hong Kong, asking you to do a market study, asking you to do some consulting, but it's the first step in kind of going down the road. And so, we always have to be, very aware of what our adversaries are doing. Of course, I can't talk about it. We do those things, as well. And I tell you one thing, there's, both from the United States perspective, but from foreign intelligence services, there's nothing better than Facebook. There's nothing better than social media, because I don't know if you do, and I certainly make the mistake. I'm all over Twitter, but we put way too much information on there. Facebook is going to tell someone your story, your life story. As what we do as a CIA officer, my job, if I wanted to recruit you, we would do something called a targeting study. That means I want to know what you like, where you go at night, where you go during the day, all your friends, and I'm going to build a mechanism to approach you based on everything I know about you. Guess what you've done already? You've just handed that to me. Thank you. And so that's where we are in 2021. But we have to embrace it in terms of, we have to utilize this, but we also have to understand that, from a defensive capability, we got to be really smart too.
So does that mean your kids aren't on TikTok?
My daughter's on TikTok. I've sat her down. I said, this is the Chinese intelligence services are reading your stuff. She goes, Dad, I'm 21. I don't care. And, and she still sends me TikTok videos.
Well, that's it right there. That's right. You can't let go of it. That's the monopolistic nature of it all. And we've seen now the US tech monopolies, Zuckerberg especially, kind of use it as a defense to say, hey, if you try and bust us up, you're actually going to be hurting US influence abroad.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we've seen, and we've talked about this on the show too, some US tech monopolies have a reticence to work with US government, US Department of Defense, which we have, very, very blatantly said that's completely inappropriate. I don't know if any of that resonates, like, because if it's US and Russia, and China, we've talked about like Southeast Asia and all these other markets, it's kind of like a battle between the US tech monopolies and the Chinese tech monopolies. And I do agree with Zuckerberg to some degree that these tech companies absolutely do help project influence over these other territories, which I'm sure you saw, some of that stuff in the Middle East and in Russia and all these kinds of things.
It brings up a really interesting kind of case study on what happened in 2016. And so, ultimately the Russians really exploited our use of social media to influence the US elections. But if you take a look at some of the indictments from Robert Mueller, there was several Russians who were indicted. They had traveled to the United States, and they had used Facebook and other forums in which to influence the American electorate. So, for example, and the Russians were really good at this. So Facebook would have their chat rooms or their forums in which they talk about really hot button issues, which really riled up the American public. So whether it's the Black Lives Matter movement or Second Amendment stuff, or it just goes on and on and on. And all of this was fake. So it was a fake Russian persona starting this, and of course then kind of it feeds into this cycle in the United States. And that's really hard to battle. And so, I think that obviously, we're a free and democratic society. So there's a great struggle, in terms of how you regulate this or not. But I also think there's an awareness that, it is 2021 and, it's very hard to kind of regulate things like TikTok or Facebook ultimately. I will say, though, as an intelligence officer, so I think the FBI probably has a different view of Facebook than the CIA does. Again, we love this stuff for targeting. I want a terrorist in the Middle East to have a Facebook profile. That's awesome. Because then you know what he's going to do? His wife is going to have a profile too, meaning she's going to post pictures of her house in Yemen. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm joking sort of when I say this, but we really can use this to our advantage too. So I think that probably the FBI for kind of internal issues here in the United States has a different view. But I love this stuff when I was in government service.
I will tell you that I guarantee the Chinese Secret Service, which I still don't know their name.
MSS. It's the Ministry of State Security, MSS.
Okay. They have a name. So that's kind of not as cool anymore. But so I guarantee they've got back doors, and I think it's been pretty well documented, into all these Chinese tech monopoly companies, platform companies, which is different. And I think probably very good that the U.S. tech monopolies don't just, backdoor all the government agencies into these private businesses, but it is very different. And we've covered it on the show, a myriad of examples about the MSS and the tech monopolies. There really isn't much of a barrier in terms of that sharing of information. Hi, I'm Alex. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, but even better, make sure to follow us on Odyssey, follow us on Rumble, and text us 203.
All right. How the CIA uses social media. Do we still have Jay with us? Yeah, Jay. How did you feel about that information?
I watched it on Discord, this video, and it's I don't think this is new, right? This is what Dutch people call inkoppertje. This is low hanging fruit in this video. It's nothing really new or shocking, to be honest. I forgot the name of the documentary about how they do it and how lawyers, marketeers, and psychologists has joined forces and offer their joint forces to countries and companies and multinationals, etc. I found that way more shocking than this. This is more like shrugs. Of course, I can do that too when I wanna find out what my ex is doing. I take a look in her friends list, etc. And this and that. I didn't think this video was that shocking. Nothing new.
Okay, thank you for that, Jay. By the way, you guys who are listening, understand that when Jay's on this show, it's very late where he is. If I'm not misunderstanding it, it's very late where he is. So I appreciate Jay for coming through.
Yeah, it's It's 444, but I'm upgrading my Linux box at this moment.
Oh, I see. Okay. Brother Bakari, what say you to this?
Of course, remember they got the brother for what was it? The brother posted a video and he ended up going to jail for what they call him
A BIE or something?
black
Extremist.
identity extremist.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
So of course they're watching. Oh, I had one of my friends on the phone talking to me. My phone kept messing up. He got off the phone. He said, "Man, you got to talk to me on Instagram or something. Them people watching you, man." He was dead serious. I called him back. He won't even answer his phone. He was like, "Man, those people watching you." I don't know if nobody watching me or not, but of course they can use all of this to find you. They can your location. People post their address, like the guy was saying. A lot of people put up their house, what their house look like, and want to show around on their house. And it's just not what he was talking about. TikTok. You can do TikTok, Instagram, damn YouTube. Now fan base. I feel a lot of people, a lot of toxic black, a lot of our people that's very toxic is using that. So Clubhouse, any of these things and anything you say, they can follow you. That they can find you. That's why I try to be careful of how I say things on other people's panel. But on my panel, I really don't care. And if they are following me, if they worried about something I'm doing or saying, oh well, they just gonna be worried. I really don't care. But I understand how other people feel. So therefore I don't speak a certain way on other people's panel, but they can use all of this. They can use all of this to find you and try to mess with you and harass you and all of that. I've been harassed and I was followed by in the city and the county where I live in for damn near a year. They even started messing with my kids, not from social media though, but it was something in person. And a lot of people might not be built for that, and that is okay. That if you are not, because it can be frustrating and nerve wracking. But hey, they're gonna use it. They're gonna mess with us. So there's certain things I don't say on here, even on my panel, about things that we are gonna do and what me and another guy's working on right now. I never mention that on YouTube. I'm gonna mention it in the meetings about some things that we have to do. But I did it right.
Right. No, Bakari, I agree with you too. I personally, I'm gonna speak my mind. I try to be, not too aggressive on other people's platforms unless they give me that latitude. But I agree with you 100%. They're gonna know what you're doing anyway. That's just the situation we're in. Azuli, what say you to this?
I think I don't even have. I mean, they're supposed to do that. Like, if you've been controlling a group of people for a while, you try to hold on to your power, and this is what they're supposed to do. And if they're not doing that, then they must be one of the dumbest people alive. So that's what we should be doing. Or any country who want to maintain, who want to maintain their power, their right, they're gonna be doing this.
Yeah,
politicians ain't shit. So they want to control the people, control our idea what goes this way for money, for marketing, for power, all of that. So this is like the only thing is this guy is acting like, oh, TikTok is doing this to us. Stop it. Like y'all didn't know. Like y'all could block TikTok. So why don't you do that?
Remember Trump wanted to block it.
Exactly. And they came out Trump for that. So if y'all don't want other so-called quote unquote or Russia or China or Japan to mingle into US politics, why don't you just block them? But you know why? Money rules the world. That's why. So this shit is like, what am I supposed to do that? Oh, I'm shocked? No. They look what they did to the Black Panthers back in the day. Like, this is nothing. They got whatever. That's it.
I think one of the underlying things in this is you can learn, like we talked about earlier, advertisement and what to target. I think, Black folks need to get their own intelligence systems anyway. But also, you could learn from how they study folks on social media. and start to aggregate data and use that to your advantage. So I think that's kind of the idea behind this this prompt, but we'll see. In the chat, Uwabantuam number 2 is here. Says, nice, powerful network growing. He says he's been on Brother Bakari's show before. Brother Bakari says he needs to come back on. The forecast says you can learn a lot in comment sections because people will say their real thoughts. Marcus Garvey is the way to free minds, says CIA is hype like MU5. CIA is hype like MU5. Earlier, D-Web from the Harsh Rally podcast says, funny, on a similar but different note, I've hypothesized that 90% of these quote-unquote diaspora war profiles are definitely bot PSYOP profiles, particularly the FBA ones if you study them closely. Very interesting. I do believe I do believe the powers that be will use the momentum of the grifters in charge of FBA, and they'll put their bots out in service of that. So I'm not surprised. If that's the case, I'm not surprised. Only, what say you to all of this?
Yeah, so I noticed the same thing. I'll tell y'all this. One time I was new to the whole, two-time and women thing. I tried it out. It's not my thing, but okay. I tried it. And I did this to this woman. Come to find out, when she finds out what I'm up to, she sends me a picture of my kid. I don't even have that picture.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And she's like, I know people in the law office, but basically she took that picture off my well, I don't want to say my then wife, but anyway, but she took pictures off of this lady's my son's mother's Facebook account, and my son's mother's like, but that's a private picture. You understand? So if this woman working at some law degree, and she was a hot sister, I ain't gonna hold y'all, but if she working at some law firm, or not even working at a law firm, but just know somebody in a law firm, could pull a private photo off of Facebook and then send it to me. Yeah. I don't even have that picture.
Imagine.
You understand? So, I mean, everybody knows the game. It's just a matter of, are you playing or are you getting played? That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Lero's in the chat.
Yep.
Peace, Lero. So yeah, I mean, these white boys talking about, oh, we use this for, I could use this information. That's why it's like hard for me to be dating sisters for real, though. Some of the sisters for real, because some of them are not as cautious as I am. I remember this brother was saying, back when I used to have these meetings in Brooklyn, this dude was like, he was posting shit online, oh yeah, kill these people. And then these people came, these white folk came up to him, opened his door and said, look, man, you gonna keep talking that shit or you gonna stop? That's what happened. He's like, I'll play that no more. But like, for real, matter of fact, I don't know if you ever discussed her on this show, but there's this sister, I think her name was Empress Sekhmet.
Yeah.
I don't remember if y'all, I probably talked about her a couple of times, but she was doing that same shit. She was like, kill Pope, you kill. And then they said, yeah, so you want to come to jail with us? And she's like, I mean that shit.
Crying her ass off.
Yeah, but like, that's, the reality is this, that they building up a case for you. They're building up a case for you and you make it easy. See, when I had these meetings, I used to tell people, look, man, you're gonna turn your phone off. They were like, it's an iPhone, I can't take it. Then you're gonna leave it in the car. And we're gonna discuss business in person, separate, no ears, nobody else. Now here's the thing. I think you showed the technology, right? Where people can listen to people could watch a vibrating balloon or something, and tell what you was talking about. You know what I mean? Or people can read lips, or people could do all sorts of shit. They could see the bag of chips in the corner, and then as you talking, they could be like, oh, well, he was saying XYZ because the chips was vibrating to his voice. So, you're in this highly surveillance, world. But that's the thing I want to say too. just to tell y'all about. So when I was in Africa, right? That's the thing about Africa. It's like least the first time I went. You know, I might be different the second time I go, whatever. But like, you are so under surveillance, it's not even funny. Like, you having dreams about, like, you thinking, oh man, somebody's gonna see if I do this. Nobody sees shit what you do. You know what I mean? Like, you could walk outside naked, you know, not that you would, but you could walk outside naked, and if you don't see anybody, it wasn't seen. You know what I mean? Now in America, you walk outside naked, the stoplights is gonna stop and light you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? But yeah, I'm telling you, man, like so you in this surveillance land, and it's like, but like that's a part of how they control you. You know, if they not surveilling you, they're not gonna control you. So like in Africa, you're not as, I mean, you they obviously got some control mechanisms in place, but you're not gonna be as surveilled as is here. And I could leave with that.
You know, this white guy Vlad from Vlad TV, he was saying something one time. He was filming in a tunnel. I want to say it's the Holland Tunnel here between New York and New Jersey. He was filming. He had a camera in his hand. I don't think he was actually filming. And like some speaker system is in the Holland Tunnel, and like said something like, "Hey, stop filming because it's illegal to film here," or something like that. I found that to be wild. Mr. Untouchable, what say you to all of this?
Yeah, for me, the way I look at it is, me personally, you know, and I don't say this much, but I am, as a Gavi and a Pan-Africanist, I am engaging in anti-imperialist sentiment. So I know and I fully understand that people listen to what we say, regardless of the fact that they try to shadow ban our algorithms, so where many people won't listen to us. You know what I mean? I understand that there are people who actually listen to us and they decipher the things that we say. This is why I go on the title of Mr. Untouchable, because see, in America there are checks and balances. You know, in particular with the deaths of U.S. citizens, but I understand that it's nothing beyond the realm of the governments that exist in our country. You know, whether embassies or whatever, to pay people to snuff people out. You know what I mean? They're infamous for doing it. So I was listening to a podcast the other day where a particular gentleman was saying how much he was doing for the so-called Pan-Africanist cause and was trying to belittle the other people on a particular show, that he was doing more than anyone else. And the natural response would have been, well, name and mentioning the things that they were doing in regards to the Pan-Africanist cause. And in doing that, what would happen is you would name and label all the affiliates and associates that you was associated with, and they would possibly take that information wherever have you. You know what I mean? So I understand that the CIA, MI6, etc., are actually listening to our podcast, because this is an intellectual one. This is a warfare of the mind. And I understand that these kinds of information, you know, people listen to and don't necessarily want to get out. So I'm very careful of the things that I say and express. However, you know, we should be fearless. We should be fearless in the things that we do, but we should also understand that, you know, this is a strategic battle. We are engaging in a warfare of strategy, you know, so we should understand, you know, the atmosphere that we exist in, and understand that the things that we say are going to be heavily scrutinized by people we know and people we don't know. People we don't know, probably never see, this unseen hand. But, you know, we are fearless, and we're going to express ourselves, and we're going to give our information out there and influence who we need to influence, regardless of the fact that their agents and agent provocateurs are out there trying to, you know, present counter arguments to what we're trying to present to our people in trying to unify them and create another kind of atmosphere. But, you know, I'm not fussed, man. You know, I understand the environment that we exist in, but we're gonna do it anyways in a fearless manner, and we're gonna live out what we need to live out. That's where I stand with that.
I hear you. For some reason, I was on a show just like what you described. Actually, I'll leave it at that. It reminded me that recently in New York, they had some changes, some preliminary changes to the Second Amendment rights here, in terms of concealed carry and whatnot. And recently, they came up with this thing, and I knew it was coming to some extent. New York approves gun law requiring buyers to provide social media handles. So the law struck down by the Supreme Court stated that gun owners would have to demonstrate proper cause to receive a concealed carry license. So that's where, these guys are trying to get you to actually reveal yourself on social media and your thoughts and opinions. And that's, we could put two and two together. That's really to get the black folks, right, who might say something about a crack-ass cracker, like Charlemagne says, right? That's to get us in a problem. So now we're not eligible, for gun carry rights. So it just made me think of that in terms of how all this surveillance goes on. Let me read the chat before I ask any last thoughts on this. Marcus Garvey says the CIA will convince you they are invincible until there is an attack, a quote-unquote attack they seem unprepared for, like how they say America is great. Say it enough times till you believe it. And she repeats it a few times. Trigger Happy says there is an account on Twitter that looks like an official divestment account. I can bet a lot of money that account is fueled by COINTELPRO as a troll farm. Right, Lero's here. She said, "Peace, loved ones." You'll say what's up to Lero. Yeah, Marcus Garvey repeats that a few times, and then she says, "Reality shows it's not legit." Lero says the U.S. is a police state, and most of its citizens are volunteer deputies. Wow, that's a nice way to put that, Lero. Trigger Happy 262 says, thinking about this and how strong America is in its surveillance model, doesn't this support the argument further, the uselessness of revolution in America? And that is a strong point, one that I can't find much argument against it. Does anyone here have any last words for this prompt?
I have something to say. Let's not all play like we are innocent and all of this, like we don't play a part in it. All y'all who are rushing to get super different phones, different super new TVs, super new cars, you guys are being also.
Wait, hold on. You don't do it too?
What do you mean? I don't know why.
You saying you guys?
Yeah, you guys, meaning us. We part.
Oh, okay. So say us. Go ahead.
So we don't. We go and get the latest technology, the latest cars, the latest phone, the latest computer. So all of this thing is they are. I don't know if anybody ever read the book 1984.
Yep.
This is everything that's going on. This is Big Brother watching. So this is what it is.